Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today, myself and my members are going to be chatting about the issue of changing Splinterlands where it has an entry fee that is a one-time pay, and maybe it unlocks earning potential, because this is a path to incentivizing many new low money investors to get into the game. And yet it needs to be priced in a way where it's desirable but not exploitable by bot farms. In this one, we talk about what that could look like, and we maybe identify even some potential hurdles with that sort of methodology. I hope you'll stick around. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Have an amazing day. Paul, good to see you, dude. We need to get down to a $20 entry to be able to really get into the game. Yeah, that's a good point, Paul. I would say I would raise that bar to like a $60 price point. And I say that based on, just looking at what games cost for for whatever title. If you could do $50 get you into this game in a really legitimate way, in a full way, I think, that makes a lot of sense. But how to do that without just opening the door to bot armies? Because that's what we did before. $10 was totally, you were in this game. If you guys don't know this, $10 used to buy you a spell book, and with it you had 1 BCX of every card that was available in the game at that time. And so when you started the game, you had 1 BCX of every, when I started the game, I had 1 BCX of all the betas and all the reward cards, I think. I can't remember for sure, but it was all the betas. And they were mine, and I could literally sell them, which was that was broken. Like, it's for $10, you got a library of cards that allowed you to play the game. They were not starter cards, or, I was hoping to see the one with a little less. But anyways, you know what it means, what it looks like. If you don't win the card, it's just like slightly grayed out. That didn't exist before. So at one point, you literally got cards for $10, and that was your starter pack. But that didn't work because bots used it, and also players exploited it too, and myself included. I had 3, 4, 5 accounts, and I'd play across a variety of levels. The collection power came into the conversation, and they tried to make it so that would incentivize you to buy more and more assets for one account to achieve a higher level of success and more reward. But as we know, that didn't really, maximize that conversation either, because rentals allow you to kind of sneak in at the end of the season. Remember when you could play to whatever level, and then on the last day of the season you could rent the cards to just satisfy your collection power requirement. There's been so many little gimmicks along the way that cause complications around how we navigate this issue of how do we make this game desirable for people who lack, huge funding. The game is enjoyable. So let's start there. We want to make an enjoyable game. They did that. But then once it's enjoyable, approachable financially for everybody. So $10 seemed very reasonable. It was no skin off the developers' backs. It was $10 in their pocket, and they were giving these assets that cost them nothing to offer, to issue. But then it kind of clued in, wow, we're getting, bot armies and people are gimmicking. So then we do the starter card thing. And then new players suffer as a product of that. So he's right. Paul's right. How do we make it approachably affordable, but at the same time not exploitable? And I think probably in the neighborhood of $50 makes a lot of sense to me as a target for a game that's quality, especially when that game can garner you financial reward. And that is so different than any other game. But I pay 50, 60, $80 for a game, and I get nothing out of it, nothing at all. And so I think, we could aim bigger than 20. I think we could say 50, but if we did 20, like Paul was suggesting, then you are starting to open doors for maybe more people, and therefore perhaps growing the player base in a bigger way. And that's perhaps preferable. But again, the issue isn't so much just the starting cost. The issue is navigating what that starting package includes, because it has to be, like he said, really a proper setup. So you're ready to go. You're ready to enjoy the game. And that would mean cards that are playable and cards that you can earn through, right? In some way. And so, because if you're just getting starter cards, with your spell book and you're earning no rank points and no resource points or whatever they're called, so you actually don't get any chests out of that, then you're not really even playing. You're just practicing. And yet, I think, here's what I think. I think it's not even so much what the dollar value is, though I think $50 is probably reasonable. I think $20 is potentially fine also. But I think the bigger issue is not what it costs. The bigger issue is that it provides rewards for the player without being exploitable. And I think the only path to that I can imagine anyways, is going to be a KYC component. Whether Spellbook requires KYC and Spellbook, or whether it's that, whether you want to say that a different way and Spellbook doesn't require KYC, but the really free to play, play to earn component comes as you invest value, and that value can come either from you buying cards, which makes it really expensive, or where you buy a season pass, and the season pass ends up being that access point that Paul's referring to, where there's this cheap, inexpensive investment into the game that opens the reward mechanism, the feedback loop for you. So as a new player, you get a spellbook for $10, and maybe for $20 you get a season pass, and for 3 months that unlocks all of the basic cards that allow you to play and reward yourself. That means you're getting reward cards of some nature. Maybe they're soulbound, maybe they're not. Maybe both. You're getting SPS, I would argue. I would say that that's probably fair. You're getting SPS, but you got to pay that $20 season pass, and you got to KYC. And through that KYC, we can know that there's not bot armies gimmicking it, and we can set a reasonable price point on that allow maybe parts of the world where money is really, really tight. It's totally a different environment, and yet they can get into it. They can start that ball rolling. I think that's the only way I can really imagine that. If there's another way, I don't see it. Eli, good to see you. What's up, everyone? Hope you're all doing spectacular. I am doing great, Eli, except for the whole family sick. Lumina got sick first. She's got this really barking cough. She's tired, and that cough's annoying, and she's a little bit gurgly, but she's mostly okay. It's just a cold and no fever or anything like that. And Hazel is now sick today, and my wife is sick today, so I'm the last one standing. And I'm just really praying I get to December 24th. I've got my last Christmas Eve church service for the year. And I'm working at the church, and I'm going to be setting up, and I'm going to be organizing and overseeing, and just a lot of different last minute things for that day. And that day, after that, I'm off for a week or whatever. So if I'm going to get sick, I'd love to get sick on December 25th, and that'll be great. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. Paul says, have a beginner mode. Yeah. I feel like beginner mode is the starter pack with the starter cards, that's beginner mode. It's like practice. You're not earning anything. Or what if you could earn soul-bound reward cards through play and soul-bound assets through play? Interesting. What if you could earn soul-bound SPS and soul-bound cards through play with a starter set in a way that you can't earn any liquid asset? Like, picture a $10 spellbook, and you get all your starter cards. They're all level 1. You can play with them. You can't earn anything liquid at all. But if you want to play the game at that level, you can earn soulbound SPS. Now, would that cause gimmicking? It would probably cause gimmicking of the vote mechanic, right? Of the decentralization of the economy. Because people would run bot armies doing that to earn the SPS to then sway SPS votes. Guys, this is so tricky. That's the other thing, man. Like, this team has done such a beautiful job, not a perfect job, but a really, really great job of navigating this nuance and complexity in a way that has been relatively resilient. Not perfect, but relatively resilient. And even as I speak to you guys in this small setting where you give an idea and I come back at you and I say, what about that thing? You know, I can see that I'm not recognizing hurdles that would come out of my own suggestions. And I'm only doing it in a small conversation with 5 or 6 people. They have to do it on this massive scale with tens of thousands of people watching and critiquing. But maybe something where you could get reward. Beginner mode might be KYC, and it might be, you know, soulbound rewards that don't translate into, you know, saleable value. Maybe that could be something.